Hey everybody, it's Tamara from Moogly, and I am coming to you today live. It is May 6th, 2020, and I am also at the same time messing with my computer, trying to get this video to come up so I can see your comments and things. Always the fun of a live, right? You gotta wait till you're live to get the page up, to do the other thing. So let me see here if I can get us going live. I was just on Facebook a few minutes ago, and I was giving you some sneak previews and things, and I was saying that today what I want to do on our live here, which is up now, yay. Hi, Miriam, and hi. I was going to say in Alabama, but I read it too fast. That's your last name. Alabama. Hi, Miriam. So yeah, I was just saying over on Facebook today, I want to just answer your questions. If you've got a craft question, a knitting question, a crochet question, if I can't answer it, I'd be happy to do so. So yeah, I was just over on Facebook and I was sort of chatting about some things that have happened this past week since last time I was live. So I thought we'd kick off by going through those real quick again. There is a new Moogly Crochet Along Square by Lorinda Rettig at Recrochations. Absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't joined the Crochet Along, do check that out. There is a new Moogly pattern, the Leaping Stripes and Blocks Squared. Make sure I'm holding it up the right side forward here, right there. And there will be a video tutorial for this one coming. Haven't filmed it yet, but I'm going to have to do that this week because it should come out next week. And this one's really fun. It's made with Red Heart with Love. And I want to say I made it as a 12-inch square, so you could put it into a 12-inch block blanket if you wanted to, like the Moogly Crochet Along or anyone, or make a whole blanket with 12-inch blocks of just this one. But I designed it so that you should be able to keep going as big as you like. Just keep adding more rows in a 4-row repeat. That said, I know the corners are a little tricky, so there will be a video tutorial. So that is coming, and those are both made with our lovely sponsor, Yarn Inspirations Red Heart with Love. Awesome yarn, perfect for blankets. Love it, love it, love it. So hi, Tammy, and Sarah, and Adrian, and Julie, and Tammy again, and Barb. Thank you so much for tuning in. So that's happening, and then there's also, I want to point out, if you go to the link in the description, especially if you only watch on YouTube, don't miss this. There is a giveaway happening for Bernat Blanket on Moogly right now, so you'll want to check that out for sure. There is a diamond art giveaway happening. If you're not familiar with diamond art, it's a really cool thing. They started as kits, but now they've got a program where you can basically stick them to anything. But there are 16 different books with ideas. I got to design 4 projects that went into 3 of them, so that's really exciting. You can see more about those, again, at the link in the description, or just go to mooglyblog.com and look for today's live, so check that out, or just go straight to the giveaway if that's what you want to do too. And then, so those are all the giveaways going on right now. A sneak preview of a giveaway coming up soon will be the Clover Dome Threaded Needle Case. Awesome for anybody who has any hand sewing. Right now we're all making ear savers, so we're just doing a little bit more button sewing on than we might be used to. If you do embroidery or anything like that, this is an awesome product. So I will be talking about that more coming up. Hi, Patricia and Tracy. And yeah, so that was about it in terms of what's been happening. It's only been a week, so there hasn't been a whole lot on the blog. Other news. One thing I did want to talk about here too is that if you are a Crochet Guild of America member, you should have gotten a letter, I believe it was last week, time flies, it's saying that unfortunately we have had to cancel the Chain Link conference for this year, due to everything going on. I don't want to say it. I don't want to get flagged by YouTube. But with all the health things going on this year, we have had to cancel this year's Chain Link conference, which is a huge bummer. But I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody in Denver in 2021, which sounds like the future, doesn't it? It's just next year, but it sounds so far away. I think I'm still coming to terms with the fact that this is 2020. So yes. I have a question. Yay! Amira wants to know, can we make classic granny square blanket in one big piece? How many rows? Well, there are a lot of factors that factor into that. What yarn you're using. If I were using Bernat Blanket, it would take a lot fewer rows, say, to get to, 36 inches. Let's say you're making a baby blanket. I could do that in a lot fewer rows in Bernat Baby Blanket than I could with, say, Peyton's Hempster. You see? So it depends on the yarn. It depends on the hook. It depends on your personal gauge. It depends, on so many things. So that's a really, really hard question to answer, unfortunately. I mean, I wish there was a simple formula that I could make that easy, but the best way to do it is start working the first few rows, make a little guy, 6-inch square, measure it and see how many inches you're getting for each row. Don't forget, though, that you're going to add on each side. So if you say, oh, well, for every inch or for every row, I'm adding an inch to this side, you're actually going to add 2 inches, of course, because there's going to be a 1 on each side. So unfortunately, my answer for that is probably people's least favorite. You've got to make a gauge swatch. But the nice thing about making a blanket that's center out like that, that gauge swatch just becomes the center of your blanket. If you like the fabric you're getting, keep going. Then you can go as big as you can. So thank you so much. Barb, thank you so much. This is a free pattern, the color block cardigan. I don't remember. Color block side to side. Oh gosh, I've realized this morning I have over 430 free patterns, and unfortunately the names are just slipping right through my fingers this morning. Free pattern on Moogly. You can find it on Ravelry or Moogly, but thank you. Comes in all the sizes. So let's see. The sweater, the yarn, this sweater is made out of Peyton's North, which is way over there, unfortunately, so I won't grab it. This is, yeah, I've got a link to the yarn in the pattern. It's really soft. It's very warm. It was very chilly this morning. It's starting to get a little warm now. But yeah, this is a really cozy sweater, and this is a fun cuff to cuff color block cardigan. That was the name. You just have to give me a few minutes. Cuff to cuff, because it is made. You start at one cuff and you crochet across to the other, and then just seam down the sides, and you can add a belt, like I've done here with belt loops, or leave it open, whatever you like. It's up to you. I've had a lot of questions actually about the collar on this one. Some people wanted a bigger fold over shawl collar, and you can absolutely do that. Just add more rows. You'll just need a little bit more yarn, of course. So let's see. Hi, everybody. See if I missed any questions. Let's see. It doesn't look like it, so that's good. And then let's see. What else can I talk about? So yeah, I was talking a little bit this morning on Facebook. If you haven't checked it out yet, new yarns to check. Well, they're not even new, but they're new to me. Peyton's Hempster, awesome yarn. It is a 3-weight. It is 55% hemp, 45% cotton. It doesn't have that shine. It's not a mercerized cotton, but this has gorgeous drape straight off the hook. I've been really enjoying working with it, and it comes, this is the pretty purple. It comes in tons of gorgeous colors. Here's just 3 of them. Really pretty. And I didn't even mean to like match these nice. I just grabbed them out of the box of colors I have. How gorgeous are these together? This is so summery and bright and happy. I really love these. Then on the opposite end of the spectrum, I wanted to tell you guys about Red Heart Fleece Hugs. This is a 4-weight, so not too far off in size, but look at that. Super squishy, super soft. It's sort of a chenille style, but it's different. A lot of times when people talk about chenille style yarns, they'll talk about Bernat blanket, which you can see here. It's fuzzy all the way around, and you can't really see the string inside. The Fleece Hugs, you can actually see that string, so it's a bit thinner. Should have some really nice drape. Really gorgeous colorways, really soft, beautiful stuff. Cannot wait to work with it. I've got a project in mind for this one already. It is just so pretty. And I love self-striping yarn in a cake, right? We all love that. Super fun. And this one is real squishy. The Hempster, you know, it's hemp and cotton. It's going to be great for garments in the summer, like I say. I think tote bags. I've got a couple projects in mind for it. Really beautiful. This is going to be super cozy, super squishy. Little bit more of a winter weight. Make it inside in the air conditioning, especially if you're in Vegas. So let's see. I've got a couple questions here. What is my favorite yarn for wearables for summer? That's a great question. I have, like I say, I've just started working with the Hempster, so I'm really liking it so far, but I haven't made any garments out of it. I did just recently come out with a garment in Peyton's Grace that I really, really like. That was the Handkerchief Cocoon. Very simple pattern. If you haven't made a garment before, check that one out. If you can make granny squares, you can make this garment. Swear, it's that easy. But I think it's got a kind of a modern touch too. I don't think it looks, you know, like the granny square sweaters, which are also very popular right now, for sure. Nothing against those, but it's got a different look. But that one has beautiful drape, gorgeousness. I like the lighter ones, you know, for summer garments. Another couple ones to check out, I would recommend. What's the name of it? There, I just had to turn around the shelf and look at it. It's a Wrap. Red Heart, It's a Wrap. Rainbow and Sprinkles, and then the regular It's a Wrap, which is different from the Rainbow and Sprinkles. All 3, though, are very lightweight. Really gorgeous drape. I've designed garments, I think, in all 3 now, and I really enjoy working with that one for summer, too, for sure. Let's see. Am I planning to release any new garment designs for this summer? A dress or tunic, perhaps. Perhaps. In the summer, I do like to do typically smaller things, smaller projects. Nobody. I do have a blanket to make, but for generally, unless I'm sitting right in the air conditioning, it gets a little warm, right? Making big, heavy stuff in the summer. So I don't have. I'm trying to think when the next garment I have planned is. The handkerchief cocoon was kind of my summer weight garment so far this year, but I might do some more. We'll see. I've got so many ideas, and I love to hear you guys' ideas too. If there is something specific that you're ever looking for, like, for example, this cuff-to-cuff cardigan. I wasn't planning necessarily on doing a cuff-to-cuff cardigan. I just hadn't thought about it too much. And then I had a couple different people write to me and say, hey, I'd really love a cardigan that's made cuff-to-cuff. Could you do that? Why not, right? So that told me, okay, I wanted to make a cardigan. I knew I wanted to use Peyton's Norse to do it. Cuff to cuff was the inspiration I needed, and we went from there. So if you have ideas like that, definitely always shoot me an email, shoot me a message. I write them all down. I have hundreds of ideas in my books to pick and choose from, but I love hearing new ones. And sometimes it's just the one that, it's the one, you needed to hear for next month. So definitely send me your suggestions if you have them, especially, if it is something specific, like, not, I just want to see a gray cardigan, but I want to see, one that's worked cuff to cuff, or something with, special pockets or whatever it is. Let me know, and if I can figure it out and make it work, I will absolutely do that. So easy knit projects in the future. I have a few knit projects. All of them are easy because that's where my knitting skill level is at for sure. I can do cabling, but lace, not my jam. So I have just come out with one this year, actually. It's a knit cocoon. It's called the Stricka cocoon. Stricka is, I believe, the Danish word for knitting. It was based on my hygge cocoon, which was made with the hygge yarn and was crocheted. So I found this, had to Google the Danish word for knitting. So the Stricka cocoon, that one is a very simple knit garment that is out right now on Moogly. It is very warm. I will tell you that. I made it with the hygge yarn. It's fuzzy, it's soft, it's gorgeous. It is very, very warm. I think it could be worked in a lighter yarn with a big needle for something really loose and airy. Maybe the Red Heart, It's a Wrap, or something like that, or the Peyton's Grace. So I think you could translate it to a lighter weight garment, but that one is very, very warm. I don't know that I'll have any more knit garments this year. Long story short, he get contracted to do certain things, and it's going to be primarily crochet for me this year, but I will definitely be sharing other people's knit garments too. I've been doing a lot more roundups since things shut down and sort of paused here in the U.S. a little bit. I've been doing some more roundups on Moogly to try and bring you guys more content than I can even really produce myself, so to speak. So I'm definitely covering a lot more knit on Moogly right now, and they might not be my designs, but there are a lot of free knit patterns, and I'm including those in all the roundup, or almost all the roundups I do. So keep your eye out for those too, for sure. Not every roundup, of course. Like I say, I did one, I think it was last week, for granny squares. So that one was more crochet focused. But in general, like the Karen 1 pound one, that is definitely a mix of knit and crochet. So you can check that out too. And on Thursday, I'll be having another one focused on Mother's Day patterns, and that will have quite a few knit projects as well. So let's see. Looks like we've got a few questions. Let me scroll up so I can make sure I don't miss them. Larita asks, where do you get all your beautiful yarn from? Well, generally speaking, I work with companies. So right now, all my yarn, or 90% of it, 99% of it comes from Yarn Inspirations. Yarn Inspirations is awesome. They bought Red Heart last year, the year before. My sense of time, like I say, is completely warped now. So they bought Red Heart a little while back. So they have Red Heart, they have Karen, they have Lily Sugar and Cream, which is such a classic. Peyton's, Bernat, Karen, I think that's all of them. Not Hirschner's. Handicrafter, Bernat Handicrafter, I guess it's Bernat. Trying to think what else do they own. I think that's all of them. I think I got all the imprints, but they have a ton of yarns. Yarnspirations.com. I love it. I was working with Red Heart exclusively before that, when Red Heart was independent on its own. So that was really exciting. It was a little scary when Yarn Inspirations bought them, but I'm loving it. There are, like now, so many yarns that I get to use. So generally speaking, I order them directly from Yarn Inspirations. So I'm not as good at checking out what's in stores at a current time. I know it's always a little bit less than you can get online though, so I just like to go online. It's a little bit easier for me. Let's see. What do I think about the Red Heart yarn? Do they have good type of yarns? And what is the best brand for yarns? Well, like I say, I work with Yarn Inspirations, and I really do love almost all the yarns I've tried from them. I mean, everybody's got their personal opinions, right? I think we all have one or two yarns where we're just like, this one's not for me. But in general, I have loved, almost every Red Heart yarn I've tried. Same for the rest of the Yarn Inspirations yarns. I am one of those people, I sincerely believe that every yarn has its place and every yarn has its project. And I mean, I wouldn't make this sweater, for instance, out of Red Heart Super Saver. Personal choice. It's not something I'd enjoy wearing. But when I make something like a tissue box cover or a set of bookends or a kid's toy, Red Heart Super Saver is an excellent choice. It's going to wear, it's going to, have all those colors. It's going to be tough. It's going to put up with that. So like I say, I don't, it's always hard for me when people say, like, what's your favorite yarn? Well, it depends on the project. It depends what I'm making. It depends on the mood I'm in. This one's going to be super cuddly in the wintertime. If I'm outside on a July day, I'd much prefer to be working with this one. So that's sort of how that goes, I guess. Wearable for boys for the summer. That is a great idea. I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest, what that looks like. If you've got some ideas, if you think wearables for boys for summertime made of yarn, I would love to hear them. It's just harder. It's just that little bit harder, I think, especially as they get older. I've definitely done winter wearables for my boys over the years, vests and sweaters and things like that. But yeah, summer wearables for boys is a tricky one. I'm into it. I like the idea. I'm just not sure what sort of garments those would be, I guess. So if you have ideas, send them along for sure. Chris says, I would love to see a lightweight t-shirt style garment, maybe in a cotton blend yarn. Excuse me. I do have a couple. I have a V-neck one made in the Red Heart It's a Wrap, and then the cupcake tee made in the Red Heart It's a Wrap sprinkles. So check those out for sure. That one's more of, I suppose, a tunic, but you can make it shorter, then it's a t-shirt. So hi, Kathleen. Hi, good to see you. Hi, Brett. And let's see, I need to scroll down a little bit so I can make sure not to miss your questions. Barb asks, do you work with number 1 yarn ever? I'm looking for a summery shirt over a tank, but with sleeves. The Red Heart It's a Wrap sprinkles and rainbow, I believe, are number 1s. If they're not, they're number 2s, but they're very thin. So yes, I have in the summer. I've got a few different garments. I've got a long sort of summer cardigan, a sea glass summer cardigan that I did in the Red Heart It's a Wrap rainbow. I have the t-shirt that I did in the sprinkles. And then I have sort of the V-neck top that I did in the regular It's a Wrap. All awesome. Generally speaking, I don't do too many garments in fingering weight or, 1 or 2 weight yarns, simply because they do take a really long time, especially if it's a winter garment, so you want that close fabric. But for summertime, when you can use a bigger hook and get that really great open lace, I love that. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it definitely, I think it creates really gorgeous garments. So if you've got the time, yeah, I love making, really beautiful drapey things with thin yarn when I have the time, for sure. And it's fun too. People shy away from that thin stuff sometimes, and say, sometimes it's a little more expensive too. But man, when it's thin, you get usually a ton of yardage for it too. So you always have to take that into account. Like that It's a Wrap stuff, I think it's something like 1,000 yards per skein or per cake or something like that. So, you're getting some yardage out of it for sure. Let's see. The scrolling isn't cooperating. I have to scroll down and then scroll back up. So let's see. Oh, there's a Blue Angel flyover in Melissa's area. Enjoy. Those are always exciting. Hi from Minnesota, Emmy. Hi. And let's see. Linda wants to know, do you have a video on how to crochet letters? Only the letter A. Part of that reason being it would be 24 videos. Or 26. Oh my gosh. My brain today. I clearly need more coffee. It'd be a lot of videos for all the letters. That said, I know the letters on the Moogly alphabet is really popular. There's uppercase, lowercase, punctuation, numbers, and I believe currency signs, currency symbols, and then the Greek letters. I know those are really popular, and it's awesome, and I'm very happy that people enjoy them. I know sometimes they're confusing. I wrote them a long time ago. One of my goals is to go back and polish all those up and just really maybe take some process pictures, because I know that some of those letters do get a little tricky. And in order to make them work, I use lots of different crochet tricks. So I do want to refresh that and put that together, like I say, with some tutorial photos and things a bit better in the future. I don't know that I'll be making videos for all of them, but it's definitely one of my, I need to get back to that and tackle it. But it's a lot of letters and things, it's a lot to go through. But I do want to make that really, just as clear as I can for you guys, because they are really handy to have, right? You can spell and make all kinds of yarn bombs and cool signs. So let's see. Tarina asks, I want to do the retro ornament throw pattern. Oh gosh, that is so pretty. I know who designed that. It's gorgeous. Beautiful choice. But Red Heart is out of most of the kit for the throw. How do I exchange one brand color for another? Okay, well, I'm not sure. Sorry, my nose is running a little. I'm not sure if you're asking how to change the colors in the kit on the Yarnspirations website, or if you just want to use different colors of yarn. I would say, and I don't remember off the top of my head what yarn that one does use. Red Heart is probably either Super Saver or With Love. I would say those two, while they feel a bit different, With Love is certainly softer right off the skein. Super Saver does tend to soften up quite a bit with the wash, and so if you can't get a color in one, I would try the other. So like if it's made with Love and you just need that particular shade of red, go over to the Super Saver and see if it's there. That would be a good one. Trying to think, Karen 1 pound might be a good one to check. I want to say there's a Bernat kind of a basic comfort type yarn as well. So there's a few different ones. If you go to the Yarnspirations website, you can actually search the yarn by weight. I believe, you know what? Well, I'll go ahead and do that here. Let me pull it up in another window. Yarnspirations.com. So if you go to the top menu on yarnspirations.com, you can click yarn, and then you can choose to just look at the worsted mediums. And I'm guessing that pattern uses a worsted medium, but if I'm wrong, click on a different one. And then you can also sort by fiber. So after you've chosen the weight, you can choose, if you want to stick with acrylic. If you're using partially acrylic, if you've got some of the colors already in acrylic, I would say stick with acrylic for the whole blanket. That's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to have a blanket made out of half acrylic and half cotton, or half acrylic, half wool, or half cotton, half wool. Unless it's, blended in the fiber itself. When you mix those together, they can just, the way they wash up can be so different. The care instructions, you wouldn't want one to shrink a little bit and the other one to not. So something to be aware of there. But yeah, so there's quite a few options here. Karen Simply Soft, Red Heart Soft, Bernat Super Value, Red Heart Roll With It. All that one's probably got too much color variation for this sort of project. But they have, it looks like 55 worsted weight yarns that are acrylic. So you should be able to find something, hopefully. Like right now, everybody's stocking up a little bit. We all have a little bit more crafting time, or at least some do. And so, yeah, unfortunately, quite a few colors and things are out of stock. But it looks like there's quite a bit of Karen in stock. Like I say, Karen 1 pound, Peyton's Canada might be good if you happen to live in Canada. That one's a little easier to get there if you're ordering online. Red Heart Comfort might be another good option to mix in there. So you could use any of those, I think, to sub in and mix together, and you're probably going to be just fine. In fact, several years ago now, I actually made a corner-to-corner blanket out of all my scraps of acrylic worsted weight yarn. We'll just say bunch of different brands, bunch of different manufacturers, all worsted weight acrylics. It's fine. It is probably one of the most loved blankets in our house. I threw all my different shades of red in a bag, all my shades of orange, blue, yellow, etc. And so then I basically created a rainbow, but inside that bag, I would just randomly grab a ball. So it's really fun. And then the whites, I just sort of randomly distributed. Really fun, just a crazy corner-to-corner blanket. Made it just as big as, when it seemed wide enough, we stopped increasing and went straight and then decreased it off. Great way to use up your scraps if you've got, nothing but tiny balls of yarn left in your stash right now while you're still waiting for that yarn shipment. It's a fun project. And yeah, just an example of you can absolutely mix and match as long as the weight and the fiber content's the same. You can substitute in whatever you need. So let me scroll down a little more here. Let's see. I answered that one. How do I come up with my project designs? Great question, Yoshiko. So, like I say, a lot of times I do have people write in and ask for, I'd love to see a cuff-to-cuff cardigan or whatever that thing may be, or, a Mobius scarf or whatever the idea is. So I love that. A lot of times I will pull out a stitch dictionary and start kind of paging through and just looking at the different all the different stitch patterns. In fact, every time I get a new stitch dictionary, I actually go through it with a pad of Post-it notes, and I will flag all the different ones. Sometimes I'll see a stitch pattern and I'll be like, oh, this is perfect for a cardigan, or this is perfect for a scarf, or whatever it. So I'll write down on the Post-it note and stick it right on that page, sort of sticking out. So I have all these Post-it notes sticking out of all of my stitch dictionaries. They look a hot mess, honestly. But I know if I'm, if I've gone through my list and I'm just not feeling inspired, I can pull back out one of those stitch dictionaries and go back to those Post-it notes and say, oh yeah, I really wanted to do, XYZ with that stitch pattern. Or maybe I'll come across one that hadn't caught my eye before. So that's part of it. For me, part of it used to be shopping. I guess we can still shop online, but it's not quite the same, is it? I used to love going to IKEA, actually. There's not one too close to me. It's about 3 hours away, up in Chicago. But when I'd have to go to Chicago for other things, I would always try and stop by there. And I'd take lots of photos. I would pay attention to the colors, the shapes, especially in the children's section is a lot of fun to see, what kind of kids' colors are hot right now or up and coming. So I'd say, for me, it's just going out and getting inspiration. If I go clothes shopping, I think we've all had that moment where we're out clothes shopping somewhere, and as a crocheter, you're like, oh, wait, I could make that. I don't have to buy that. I could make that. Well, then, there we go. I come up with a design for it. If it's something I actually want to wear, I will, make my own version. The Sea Glass Summer Cardigan was based on just a really simple kimono style, sort of cardigan that I found at the store. And I was like, I really love the way this fits and drapes, but I could crochet that. So that's how that design came about. I will say I am a more organic designer than a lot of designers. A lot of designers will sit down and say, maybe they'll make a gauge swatch or a swatch for that fabric, and they say, okay, I'm going to make a cardigan. It's going to be like this. I've got my dimensions, and they can write out the whole pattern. I'm not like that. I actually have my book here. This was when I was designing the Leaping Stripes and Blocks Squared. And this is what my notes look like as I'm writing. You can see it is a very organic process for me. This took, I don't even know how many pages before I figured it all out. And of course, I don't quite write it all out because there's me figuring out the colors, there's figuring out the repeat. I've got my own sort of abbreviated notation that I know I can understand, and then I have to translate it into words for everybody else. But it's a very, very organic process. I think before that first page, there were just pages of me trying to figure out how to get the darn corners to work. A real struggle. It took 3 days to come up with that pattern. More of it. But I did get there eventually. But yeah, it's for me, I think every designer does it a little differently, but for me, I have to be sitting there with the yarn, the hook, and the notebook, and trying that and scratching it out and frogging it, and try that and scratch it out and frog it until I get it to work. And sometimes I'll get, a foot in and 2 feet, 3 feet in and be like, okay, this is not working at all. Frog it all again, start over. But so that's my design process for sure. Let's see. Emmy, thank you for teaching me the chainless foundation row. It's been a life changer. I'm so glad to hear it. Yeah, I love it. It's just so much easier than making a bunch of chains and then crocheting back into them and finding out you're 1 short or 10 short or, gosh, I really wish I'd made that wider now. You don't have to pull all those stitches back out. You can just add a few more or just remove the ones that are extra. And I think it gives me a better idea too of just how wide that line's really going to be, because sometimes your chains can be a little bit narrower or wider than your stitches. So you'll have a chain, you'll be like, yeah, that looks about the right width. I want it to be 2 feet, whatever it is. And then you start making the rows and you're like, oh, it's shrunk a couple inches, or maybe it's grown a couple inches. So I find with the foundation chain, or the foundation stitches, particularly the taller ones, I get a much better idea of the real width of something before I've gone 2 or 3 feet that then have to be frogged. Always disappointing, right? So let's see. Hi, Lotus from Romania. You're crocheting the Saturday sweater. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Thank you. That one has been, that was one of my first real garments, and it was so fun to crochet, and I'm so glad people like it. Let's see here. Scroll down a little bit. Have I made the yarn with the plastic bags? Yes. Yes, I have the Plarn, plastic yarn Plarn. It is, I should do it. I'll do a video. I'll do a video on how to make Plarn. It is really simple, dreadfully easy to make once you get the hang of it. Actually, I can go ahead and tell you, if you made, this is going to sound silly, but if you made Chinese jump ropes, that's what we called them in elementary school. It's probably not the right term, but with the rubber bands that you would sort of loop together, where you'd put the one side of the loop through the other side and then create the long string. That's what we used them for when I was in elementary school, showing my age here. It's essentially the same technique. You just cut the strips across the bags and then loop them together like that, and then boom, you've got yarn. You need a big hook. I recommend, plastic or metal, something strong, because you're going to be pulling a little bit. But it's a great thing. I used mine to make a really big, very, very, very simple tote. Just basically 2 big squares with a hole at the top for a handle on each side, and then I put them together. But it was awesome when my kids were younger and we'd go to swim lessons. We could throw all the wet swimsuits and stuff in there, and it would drain through a little bit, so the bag wouldn't get wet. But it was plastic. It would dry in seconds as soon as we took those swimsuits or whatever back out. So it can be great for that. I know a lot of people use them to make mats for the homeless, sleeping mats, things like that. And actually, a friend of mine has a handbag that somebody, I don't know where they got them, because around here all the plastic bags are like the same color, but they had somehow gotten plastic bags in a whole variety of colors, and they made a really gorgeous handbag that you would never guess, unless you knew better, was made out of Plarn. So you can do some really neat things with it. Yeah, I should make a video tutorial for that. Thank you for that idea. That would be a lot of fun. Let's see. My pleasure, Yoshiko. I'm so glad. Emily said she's been making mask headbands with them. It's a lifesaver. That's awesome. Very cool. Let's see. Hello, Ida, and hello. Thank you. Sorry, my nose actually runs when I talk. It's the strangest thing. So I always feel bad. I have to dab at my nose. It's not the virus. There we go. All right. So I think that's all your questions so far. Trying to think. Oh, I have one more thing I can show you here if we're out of questions. I meant to show this actually this morning on Facebook. I had one more sneak peek that I forgot to talk about. If you follow my YouTube channel, you may have seen I've got an octopus squish, a very cute little octopus squish, and a narwhal squish, and which is also a whale. Just take the horn off, so you can kind of a 2-in-1 pattern, that one. I've got one more coming this month, still in progress. This is the pillow. The other two had just round ball pillows. This one has more of a bolster shape. I want to say it was 7 inches by 12 inches. Does it have it on the label? Let's see. It does not. But this is the bolster pillow that I am using as the interior. And this is Bernat blanket again, just like the other two. I'll go ahead and give you a sneak peek. I have most of the body made. I'm weaving in the ends, and then I need to make the bottom. And, of course, add the face. Da-da-da. First peek. Let's see. Yep, that would be the right way around. I've got that stitch marker in it to make sure I know which one's the front. So, if you can guess what it's going to be, ooh, it's going to be very cute, I think. So, yes, this one is coming up next. And that one will be not this Friday, but the Friday after. I need a little bit more time to get it done, so it's not coming out this week. This week, I will actually have a project for which I used the new Cricut Joy. Again, if you follow the link in the description, I have links to everything I've talked about today, including these really yummy yarns. But the Cricut Joy is, oh gosh, I'm bumping the table. Super cute, super cool. How little is this? The tiniest Cricut. I love it so much. And it does the cutting, and it does the writing, and you can set it up to run right from your phone. And it's small enough to actually take around the house. Like if you wanted to make a whole bunch of labels, you can make labels for all your spices in your kitchen. You know, take this right up to the kitchen with you. Like I say, you run it from your phone. So handy. So handy. So there'll be some more stuff coming up for that here in the next month or two on Moogly. And then this Friday, I'm going to show you a really quick project that I did with it. But you could do it with any of the Cricuts, or, you know, take that idea and kind of zhuzh it into whatever works for you. So that's be coming out too. It has nothing to do with knit or crochet. It's just a lot of fun. I've been loving using that machine for every birthday card I've sent for the past month, and it's just a really fun machine. So if you can check it out, check that one out too. Might feel some more of those crafting hours these days. So Sheila guessed right. Yes. A squid. Awesome. And Chris, you guessed right too. Yes, it's going to be a squid. I love sea creatures, and I thought, a squid would just cap it off. So the squid is actually the last one of the squishes I have planned. So if you guys have any other ideas for squishes, throw them at me. I would love to make some more. They have just been so much fun to make. And if you're getting sick of them, there's always something else too. Let's see. So Kaz Aussie Yarnaholic, I feel that, asks, would you do a tutorial for your handkerchief cocoon? I'm a beginner, but not super confident. I don't have it on the list to make a tutorial for because it is so easy, but that's not saying I won't come back and do one. I think it would be a good idea. At first I thought, well, gosh, this is such an easy pattern. I don't know if it needs one. But I think it could use one for sure. If you want to go ahead and tackle it before I can come back and make a tutorial for that one, I do have some tutorials linked in the pattern. The multicolor, there is also a tutorial for a multicolor granny square, I believe on Moogly, that shares some of the tricks. But there are a lot of tricks in this one, it's true. I do some unusual things that you might not normally do for a granny square, like I turn it after every round. Often, when people make granny squares, they'll work just on the right side, around and around and around. But a lot of times too, the bigger it gets, if you look at some of those granny squares, there's a twist, there's a swirl to it. When you turn at the end of every round, you go ahead and join, then just turn and work back the other direction like you would if it were a row. That actually takes that swirl out. So like I say, there are some tricks and things in there. So I will probably come back and do a video tutorial for that eventually. But if you have specific questions about it, in the meantime, definitely let me know, and I'd be happy to try and help out with that as best I can. So, yay. Ida wants to know, I want to knit a cocoon sweater. I do have a cocoon sweater knit pattern. It is called the Stricka Cocoon. It's Strikke. You can find it on Ravelry and, of course, on Moogly. Anything you're looking for on Moogly, you can just either go to the free patterns in the menu, or if you're on desktop, on the right, there's a search bar. If you're on mobile, it's down towards the bottom, because on mobile, of course, it lines everything up into one long column. So you have to search down a little bit, but there is a search bar. So awesome. I'm so glad you guys like it. Thank you so much. Yay. I need a sip of my coffee. This is a lot of chatting for me. Hello from Iowa. Hello to Hooks and Horses in South Carolina. Hello. So yeah, like I say, and now I'm officially out of things to show. I will tell you, tomorrow I am going live on the Michaels Facebook page. I don't have a whole lot of details for it yet. Nothing like last minute. But I will be teaching one of my patterns. I know that. I know I'm having a rehearsal for it this afternoon to try and figure out how that's going to work. I believe it's going to be at 11 a.m. Central tomorrow, but I'm, again, not 100%. I will definitely be sharing on my social media, though, when that is happening, when I have a little bit more information. But it's pretty exciting. Michaels. Love it. So, yeah, hopefully you'll be able to check that out. Hopefully it'll all go smoothly. It's exciting. Always trying something new. For sure. So let's see. I've got a request. A panda and a koala. Oh, I think that would be awesome. I will definitely add those to the list. A panda and a koala. And I was thinking about doing a unicorn too, but then Your Inspirations came out with their own round unicorn stuffy, which is super cute. So if you want to check that out, definitely check that out too. They did theirs in velvet, and they also have those fat cat stuffies too that are so cute. Yeah, like I say, check those out if you haven't before. The fat cat stuffies on Your Inspirations are absolutely adorable if you like cats. A turtle or a snail? Ooh, that would be fun. I really like the idea of a snail too. That would be really cool. And then Sue asks, do you have a favorite yarn for garments? Again, it just depends. Is it a winter garment? Is it a summer garment? For summer, I've really enjoyed working with Peyton's Grace, and It's a Wrap Rainbow and Sprinkles, and regular It's a Wrap from Ed Hart. For winter cardigans, sky's the limit. There's so many more worsted and bulky weight yarns. You can kind of go crazy. It just depends if you want, do you want acrylic? Do you want wool? Some people can't wear wool. Some people only wear wool. So for me personally, I don't know. Like I say, there's very few yarns I've met that I didn't like. Maybe not all of them for garments, but there are quite a few yarns I think that can make really lovely garments. But if you're looking for summer weight, definitely check out the It's a Wrap line from Red Heart and Peyton's Grace, and maybe even Peyton Sumster. Like I say, I've been having a lot of fun working with this yarn as well. It's got great drape. It may not be as comfortable for a garment as Peyton's Grace, but both are the lightweight yarn, which is really, really nice for summer garments as well. So, okay, let's see. I think I think that's all the questions. And now it's lunchtime. So, yeah, I probably have some hungry kids. You might too. Emmy wants to ask, is there such a hook size as 3mm? It seems like that should be a yes. I don't usually go down to this hook sizes that small. You know, I will tell you what, if you are having trouble finding straight millimeter size hooks, sometimes the Japanese manufacturers actually, and that's part of the confusion. Every country has their own hook sizes. I'm just going to go ahead and use my computer here and see if I can answer that. 3mm crochet hook. What size is it? It may not have an actual, okay. Yeah, 3.25 is D. C is 2.75, isn't it? So yeah, check out the Japanese hook manufacturers if you're looking specifically for a rounded millimeter crochet hook. I'm wondering if Tulip has one. I'm gonna go ahead and just Google it right here, because they tend to run. Well, they've got the half sizes too. Sorry, I'm literally answering a question live. Here we are. Why do I see Tulip Edamo crochet hook rose 3mm? Yep. So Tulip definitely does have one. I don't think, yeah, it doesn't have a letter. So it's going to be one that's going to be a little bit harder to find from American manufacturers. But yeah, so a lot of times, like if you're on Amazon or someplace like that and you see some hook sets that will come like 3mm, 4mm, 5mm, 6mm, and sort of stick really to those strict sizes, as opposed to having like the 3.75 or the 4.5 that we're used to in American sizes. A lot of times it's not wrong. It's just a different country. They've chosen different standards, so to speak, to make their crochet hooks. But that's great. You know, you can try different manufacturers, try different types of hooks, and sort of seek those out in different sizes. So yeah, definitely, like I say, yeah, check out. I know for sure Tulip has one now. So, and it looks like they are sold at the big box stores. So check that out. So yay. All right. Kaz asks, would you recommend doing your cocoon with a mercerized cotton blend? The handkerchief cocoon is made with a mercerized cotton, the Peyton's Grace. Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be perfect. I'm not sure if you were referring to the knit one. Sorry, I've got so many different cocoons. So yeah, I have a few different patterns for them. But yeah, I think, you know, if you can get gauge, and let's say you were using a mercerized cotton for a pattern that normally called for a worsted weight acrylic, it might work, it might not, but depending on, you know, what sort of drape you have and things. But if you can use a big enough hook and you like that really lacy fabric, I'd say give it a try. I mean, you know, it's just yarn, and if it doesn't work out, you know, you turn it into something else. A lot of times I won't even bother frogging it. I'll leave it in that project and just work directly from the project. But yeah, the handkerchief cocoon, definitely. The rest, you have to give them a try. You know, it just depends on the individual pattern, I think. Let's see. So, yeah. Yeah, we're still, I'm just checking the comments. Yeah, C is a 2.75 sometimes. But then, yeah, so you might have a manufacturer that decided to make it a 3mm. Another reason to have one of those hook gauges if you can get one, for sure. So, alrighty. Well, I think with that, it's 12:30 here in my time. I can hear the kids getting restless upstairs. Sounds like the roofers have at least taken a break next door for their lunch. So I'm going to go ahead and go too. I'll be back in a few weeks with more lives. And like I say, tomorrow I will be live on the Michaels Facebook page. So do check that out. Keep your eyes out for that. And hopefully I'll see you there. And I will talk to you all later. Thank you so much, Auntie Sash, and everybody else who's tuned in. And you have a great day, everybody. See you later. Stay safe out there.